Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Matilda and I make videos about books, reading, writing and other things that tickle my fancy. Today, however, I am back to give you yet another update on this foot. I can't really get it in the frame all that well, but it is the foot that I have once again had surgery on and I figured it was time to update you guys. So I believe towards the end of the last foot update I gave you, I will have a link up above, that I had found out that I was gonna have surgery, but that I didn't know when. I was gonna put on a waiting list before I got my date for it, and then I didn't really hear anything. And around that time, from about the 15th or 16th of October, and a week, 2 weeks forward, there were major issues in the healthcare system in the whole middle of Sweden, basically, with getting delivery of supplies. So they had switched companies who was going to deliver it to them, and so they weren't getting any supplies because of some miscommunication, and that halted a lot of things in the entire middle of Sweden when it comes to healthcare. I was definitely not the only one affected, but that was also around that time. So I waited for a few weeks and then I made a call just to check in, just to see when I would get the letter confirming my appointment. I hadn't heard anything about a time yet, more than probably within 2 months, but I wanted to check how long in advance will I get the letter telling me to come in for surgery, just so I would know how much planning and how much things I could do around that time. Not that I could do that much because of the foot, but still having a grasp of what the future looked like. So I called and I was told that I was preliminarily booked for the 4th of November, but that may change due to scheduling or more urgent cases or whatever else, and that I would get the letter about 2 weeks before my surgery date. So I did some more waiting. The whole delivery issue happened, which resulted in lots and lots of surgeries being cancelled. The whole middle part of Sweden basically focused primarily on the urgent and intensive surgeries. Mine did not qualify for that, so I was pretty certain I'd have to wait. But I didn't hear anything and I wasn't entirely sure. And so on the 31st of October, that was a Thursday, I believe, I called the clinic just to check, just to be like, hey, what's up? I know there have been these issues that are mostly resolved at this point, but what does that mean for me? Is it gonna be another 2 months of waiting? Who knows? So I called and I was put on the phone with the same person I talked to before, who said that, yeah, we've already talked about this, November 4th. Several weeks had passed now before the first phone call and the second phone call. There had been the whole delivery issue thing. They had cancelled a bunch of surgeries. I'd been told I was going to get my letter about 2 weeks prior to my surgery date. This was Thursday and the 4th was the following Monday. I had not received a letter. And so I told her this. I was like, well, I haven't received anything. Good thing I called. And then she told me that, yeah, I can see that nothing was sent. Good thing I called. If I hadn't called and I would have missed my appointment, I would have had to wait even longer. So it was good that I called, but it was also very sudden. It was like I thought I would have about 2 weeks to mentally prepare. Even though I knew the surgery was coming, I still thought I'd have 2 weeks to get our apartment in order, to make sure that we have stocked up on a bunch of food, you know, anything else that I might have to do. And then suddenly I had a weekend. Luckily for me, I have Marcus, so that weekend, which was also the start of NaNoWriMo, if you are new to that, that's a writing thing I do every year, we had to spend that entire weekend prepping. Now, I did get some words done too, I have vlogs on that if you want to see it, but we had to grocery shop and clean and do some cooking and pack a bag for me going to the hospital and let everyone know that, hey, the plans we've made coming up, I can't come because I was supposed to have 2 weeks notice. I got 4 days notice and I'm having surgery on Monday. So that weekend was very busy and I was also a little bit in shock. And it is what it is. I couldn't do anything. I'm glad I got surgery on time and all was good like that. But thinking that that would be the end all be all of everything was of course foolish, because the hospital is about 2 hours away by public transport, which is what we'd have to take. And it would be next to impossible to get there in the morning of the surgery. I was supposed to be there at 7:30. Not impossible, but we would have had to gotten up at like 4, and if there was any issue at all with the trains, we would have been kind of screwed. So instead we made a decision to go there the day before, get a room at a hotel, stay there overnight, and then head to the hospital. And so we booked a hotel that was like across the street almost from the hospital. We Got there, it was Sunday evening at like 5, 6 maybe. And they did not have an open reception on Sundays, which we had been informed about when we booked. But we got a code to get into the building and then a code to get into a safe in which we were going to find our key to our room and an envelope with some information. We got into the building, we got into the safe, and there was a key. And no envelope. And we figured, well, maybe they just forgot the envelope. We did get pretty sufficient information in the email and the booking confirmation and stuff anyway, so let's just go to the room and go in. And we went upstairs because there was no elevator in this hotel, which maybe we should have looked that up, but we didn't. So we went upstairs, we put the key in the lock, unlocked the door, walked in to a room that wasn't cleaned, to a room that had definitely been used. That was not a good situation. So we were like, did we miss something in the safety box, in the safe? So we went back downstairs, we found a number to call if something was wrong. We called that number. The person who answered was like, well, there's supposed to be that thing in the safe. And there wasn't a thing in the safe. And we told him that the room that the key accessed was dirty, and he said that he was going to look into it and get back to us. So we hung up. He supposedly called the person who had worked that day and then called us back saying that she had forgotten to put those things in the safe, and so we couldn't access them. Luckily for us, he lived like 10 minutes away. He came pretty quickly and could sort those things out, got us a new room, key, information, all of that. And also, come to think of it, promised us some form of compensation because we'd already paid online, and it's now been a month and a half and I haven't heard anything back. So, don't know about that. But anyway, we had a room. Great. And so we settled into a room, we went out to eat, came back, I took a shower, went to bed, didn't fall asleep until like 2 a.m. and then got up at like 5 a.m. So I wasn't operating on very many hours of sleep. Marcus didn't have many hours of sleep either, but he at least got breakfast. I had to starve. I wasn't allowed to eat anything from midnight the night before surgery. Then we got to the hospital. Things were pretty smooth. I had to wait for a while. I wasn't the first patient in, and I had to sit in the waiting room of the surgery ward, I kind of want to call it, in my hospital gown, which for some reason was very small. Like when I sat down, it barely covered anything of my legs, and I felt kind of naked. So I didn't enjoy that. But then I was wheeled off to surgery, and contrary to the first surgery I had back in March, that one I was put to sleep with something going into my vein. This time I got something in my vein, but I also had to have a mask, which I was supposed to breathe in. So that was just how they do it at the hospital. And that I found a little bit strange. Not strange that they did it, but the sensation of it was a bit strange because it was very easy to breathe in, more difficult to breathe out because you're being fed a whole lot of oxygen and there's pressure in it, of course. And I felt myself, because that went on and I had the IV as well, I felt myself going really loopy, but not falling asleep. Like it was a matter of like a minute max. But I sort of felt like my eyes started rolling and I just felt really, really weird and off. But then I was asleep and everything was great. And then I woke up in a lot of pain and crying uncontrollably again. Apparently that's what I do when I wake up from anesthesia, but it is what it is. And that was the end. I was told that surgery had gone well. I got the boot that I'm still wearing. And last time I had a cast for 3 weeks and then a boot for 3 weeks. Now I was told to have a boot from the start, and I was allowed to bear weight and everything from the beginning, which I didn't do the first week because that was too scary and I was in too much pain. But I got the boot, I was told to have it for 6 weeks to begin with and then come back in and see them, and then they're gonna check it and we'll see what happens from there. And I have that appointment tomorrow. So today is the 18th of December. I have that tomorrow on the 19th. Hopefully I'll get out of it. I feel pretty fine. I mean, I've been in the boot 90% of the time, so I can't really say how I feel, but it's been okay. And I would like to get out of it, but it's also kind of scary because it's winter now and it's slippery outside, and I am terrified of injuring myself again in that foot or any other part of myself. But it would also be kind of nice to get out of it and start moving around and building up some strength, because again, this time, just like last time, I have lost a lot of stamina, a lot of strength, and just a lot of mobility, I feel like. It's been better this time because the first time being in a cast for 3 weeks, that's non-weight bearing. You're not allowed to put any weight on it. You can't really move around at all because you have no balance, at least I don't. Now I've been allowed to walk on this, but obviously with crutches and stuff. So I've done a lot more moving this time around, but I've definitely still lost some of my stamina, some of my mobility and stuff. But I wanted to make this update before the boot comes off. I wanted to talk a little bit about this before I went in for surgery 6.5 weeks ago, but that didn't happen. So we're here now and this is what you're getting. Now, like I said, I'm going in to see the surgeon tomorrow and hopefully get the boot off, get some news, get something moving forward, and then I'm booked for physio next week to start. I was booked for physio today, but since I'm not out of the boot yet, I had to postpone it because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow with 100% certainty. He did say 6 to 8 weeks, starting with 6, so if I have to keep it on for another 2 weeks, I wouldn't be surprised, but it would also be nice to get it off tomorrow. That is where I'm going to leave it today. I'm going to tag on a clip after tomorrow, probably not. I probably won't film it tomorrow or even Friday, but I'm going to tag that on to the end of this video to see what I'm told, what happens moving on. And yeah, over to future me now. All right, everyone, I'm back. So I'm filming this clip on the 22nd of December. So it's been a week and a bit, I think, 2 weeks. I don't really remember when I filmed the last clip. I think it was the 17th or 18th of December. It will have said in the corner down below somewhere. And I am now back. So on the 19th, I went to see the surgeon who performed my surgery and we talked a bit. I got to show him the scar, how the foot's healing, the swelling, and he told me to take a few steps without the boot, which was terrifying. It was expected, but it was terrifying. And so I did that, and he said that it looks fine, it looks good. There is, of course, going to be some time before I build up my stamina, my strength again, but he said it looked fine. He said to keep the boot for a little while, just for my own sort of safety. Not that anything bad is going to happen, but more so that I feel very secure having it. And what with the weather we're having right now, which, you know, we got snow and ice and stuff on the ground, as well as it was just now Christmas and we weren't home for Christmas. We were off visiting Marcus's family. They have stairs in their home. It just felt like a lot to take on all that without the boot. So he told me to sort of wean myself off the boot, which is what I'm doing. I have mostly indoors in our home moved around without it. And for the most part of that, moved around without crutches as well. So it's really exciting. It is also really scary, but it's above all really exciting. And just in this past week, or roughly week, I've already started building up strength. I can already feel that it's different. I feel braver and I am moving around with less and less of a limp, which is very nice. So of course, I mean, there is an adjustment period. The boot itself is like an inch taller than my other leg. And so I've been walking, you know, on an uneven surface when I've been in the boot, and so just taking that off makes it different. I have to put my foot back down on level with the other foot, and my hips and my knees aren't really happy with that. But slowly but surely, I am heading in the right direction. I am walking in the right direction. And today I was off to see my physiotherapist for the first time since the second injury happened. I saw her right for Midsummer, so late June. And then I got re-injured and then I've gone through this entire process, see videos in cards and so on. So I saw her for the first time again today and she also looked at my foot. She talked me through the program I'll be doing for the next 2 weeks, which is the same thing I did last time after I was done with the cast and the boot the first time. But it's always nice to freshen up your mind. And she also gave me I'd kind of call it a splint. That's not quite the correct term for it. I'll insert some footage of me using it. Probably, maybe, we'll see. But it's something that I can put on and also wear shoes with, and it will sort of stabilize my ankle a bit more. So I will still be able to do the walking motion fully. It won't infringe on that, but it will stabilize the sides of my feet so I can't, you know, mess it up again by walking on something uneven. So I'm not going to get too attached to that. I'll just use it when I need it, and I'm scared that I am going to get re-injured. All fingers crossed that that won't happen. I'm still scared that it will happen, but I wanted to get that just to have something that I can put on if I know I'm going to be out walking a lot, or if I know that I'm going to be on uneven surfaces and so on. I'm, for example, thinking about the wedding, which now is a few months away, but still, we're going to be there for a few days setting up, and then we're going on honeymoon, and it's going to be a lot of walking involved, and I just don't want to mess that up. So we'll hopefully hopefully this is enough. And also I will of course do the program and, you know, build up my strength and stuff that way. All in all, it's gonna be fine. I am optimistic, scared but optimistic, and it feels really nice to be able to move around unassisted, basically unassisted. I mean, again, when I've been outside, I've still worn the boot and used the crutches, and I'm slowly gonna wean off the boot but still use the crutches and then slowly drop it all. So it feels really nice to be able to move around on my own. I am tired, my body is tired, my foot is not super happy, and it does still hurt from time to time. But on the upside, I am stronger at this point than I was at this point the first time around, because then I was in a cast for 3 weeks and then the boot for 3 weeks and then we were here. Now I've been in a boot the entire 6 weeks, and coming out of that, having been walking, I'm stronger. My foot also does not get nearly as swollen as it did last time. Last time I felt like it grew to like twice its size when I had it just down, when I sat straight up and down on a chair, for example. And that doesn't happen. It does swell a bit, it does change color a little bit, but it was essentially purple last time around, and now it's like 2 shades darker than my normal skin tone, maybe. So very pleased with that. Now I'm going back to physio in 2 weeks. Between now and then, I'm going to do these exercises that I've been given, and then I guess I'm gonna see her every 2 or 3 weeks after that. I'm hoping that nothing bad happens and that I will just give you an update when it's been like a year since the surgery, if I even remember to do that. But I don't really know what else I have to update you guys on. I really hope that no one has to go through this, because this has not been fun. It's been a really stressful, not great year of just pain and suffering. Not just pain and suffering, but a lot of it. And I wouldn't wish this upon anyone, and I really hope that I don't have to go through this a 3rd time, or that my other foot starts messing with me, because that would just suck. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I've talked for way too long already. But thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon. Probably not talking about my foot. So I'll see you then. Bye.